Are you struggling to calculate the population standard deviation in R with more than 10 samples? You're not alone. Today, we're going to simplify this process and help you get the results you need. I totally get it. It can be really frustrating when you're trying to analyze data and the calculations just don't seem to work out. Many users face this issue, especially when transitioning from sample to population statistics. Here's the specific question we're addressing. One user asked, "How do I calculate the population standard deviation in R using more than 10 samples?" They mentioned they were unable to extract the source C code in R to find the method of calculation. Sound familiar? Let's dive in. So what exactly is the population standard deviation? It's a measure of how spread out the numbers in a dataset are, and it differs from the sample standard deviation when you have more than 10 samples. Understanding this difference is crucial for accurate data analysis. And stick around. At the end of this video, I'll share a quick tip that will make your statistical calculations in R even easier. To calculate the population standard deviation in R, the user should first set the sample size to 100. This can be done by assigning the value 100 to the variable n. Next, the user needs to generate random numbers using the rnorm function. This function will create a sample of normally distributed numbers based on the specified sample size. Now the user can calculate the population standard deviation using the SD function. This function will provide the standard deviation of the generated sample. To compute the population standard deviation manually, the user can use the formula that divides by n instead of n-1. This is crucial for population calculations. Finally, the user can verify their calculation by using an alternative formula. This involves summing the squares of the values and adjusting for the mean. Fun fact, did you know that the concept of standard deviation was first introduced by Carl Pearson in the late 19th century? Statistics has come a long way since then. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative approach suggested by a user is to define a custom function for calculating the population standard deviation. They propose using the existing standard deviation function, SD, and adjusting it with a simple formula. Now, let's dive into a different answer from another user. One user suggests looking for packages that provide ready functions for calculating population standard deviation in R. They recommend several options. Now, let's shift our focus to a different response. This user provides a detailed approach to calculating both sample and population standard deviation in R. They start with a sample size of 10, using the standard deviation function and manual calculations to confirm the results. For the population standard deviation, they emphasize the importance of using the correct formula, especially with larger sample sizes, and provide several methods to achieve accurate results. Here's a pro tip. Always double-check your calculations by comparing the population standard deviation with the sample standard deviation. This can help catch any errors early on. And there you have it. You should now be able to calculate the population standard deviation in R with confidence. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips and tricks on data analysis.